Welcome to Tech Savvy. I'm Leigh Newman. I'm the Executive Director of Campus Operations for the LaGrange campus at West Georgia Technical College. And we've got, as always, so much going on our campus, but the bottom line, we are making a difference in our students' lives and the lives of their families too. So we're excited about what we've got going on. We've got a very special program today. We're starting, the first block is going to be with Susan Prestridge, who's the lead instructor for adult education for the LaGrange campus and for Greenville. And Susan is here to tell us, kind of update us on what's going on in the adult ed department. So Susan, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me today, Leigh.
And I always enjoy having you because I learn so much from you.
Thank you.
I realize that.
I always enjoy being here. Any chance I have to talk about our program and promote what we do is just a wonderful opportunity.
The things that y'all are able to accomplish in the adult ed area you've got to be proud of what you're accomplishing.
We are, not just myself, but our entire staff, our faculty and staff is really proud of the work we do.
We have unbelievable numbers in our area of people that don't have high school diplomas.
We do, and sometimes they don't realize that there is an opportunity to come and earn their GED and prepare for it, and at little to no cost to them.
Well, and it is never too late to start. That's
Exactly.
the part that, I've been noticing there are a whole lot of different age groups coming to your classes.
In fact, I have a student who's in her mid-70s taking her first GED test this morning.
Was she ready?
She was so excited. So,
well, all right, let's talk about the process to get your GED, and I think things have changed probably since the last time you were on.
Maybe just a little bit. We still offer the free GED classes as well as ESL classes on the LaGrange campus. ESL is English as a second language, right, for people in our community whose native language isn't English. We offer that as a service as well. And both are free. Students have to be at least 16 years old or older to enter our program. If a student is 16 or 17, they need to have parental permission. They would need a parent to come with them at the time of registration and fill out some paperwork. Our 16 and 17-year-olds have different criteria than 18 and older. People who are 18 and older can sign up to take the test at any time. However, I highly recommend going through the classes because the test is $160, whereas classes are free. And if $160 is too much, if you're in the program, you have an opportunity to earn a scholarship. So.
Well, it's just, there's no reason not to, is what you're saying.
Exactly. There's no reason not to pursue your GED. If money's an issue, we can cover that. But we do have, the state does require underage students to meet certain criteria.
And what that would be students that would regularly be maybe a junior or a senior in high school.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone that would be 16 or 17. They have to meet certain criteria to get permission from the state to test. And the first step in part of that criteria is attending a state-approved adult education program like ours.
Right.
And then students who are 18 or older don't have to meet that criteria per se. They can sign up at any time. However, we've noticed that they're really hesitant until they see how they do on a practice test, and then they take that next step to the real deal.
So I come in and say I'm a junior and I had to drop out of school for all kinds of different reasons. What would happen? What would be the process that I would go through?
The first thing you would need to do is attend a registration session. We have a variety of options for you since you're a junior in high school. You could either attend classes on campus, or you could attend our Learn to Earn program at the New Venture site, which I'll talk about here in just a moment. But the first thing you would need to do is register. You would need to bring your mom or dad, but before you do that, you need to make sure you have a valid ID, government issued, like learner's permit,
to make
driver's
sure I'm
license.
a U.S. citizen.
Yes, and to make sure that you qualify for our services and you are who you say you are. We also need proof of withdrawal from the last high school a student attended. That way, sometimes people will try to do both at the same time, and just can't do that.
No.
You got to choose one or the other. So we do have to have proof of withdrawal from the high school. And then you would come in with your mom or dad or whoever your legal guardian is. We'd have you fill out some underage paperwork, explain the criteria to you, get you to fill out some paperwork that's necessary for our purposes, and then we would schedule you to take an assessment, because we don't want to work on what you know. We want to focus on those weaknesses to get you ready.
Right.
And it's also a method of class placement for us as well. So we would have you come in and take the assessment, and then based on the assessment we would place you in a class and start working on those weaknesses to get you ready for the GED.
Weaknesses, can you give me an example of a weakness that...
Sure. Sometimes students come in and they're really proficient with reading and language. Math, not so much. Math is usually the struggle for a majority of our students. Well, let's say you come in and you can multiply and divide really well, but fractions. Usually fractions get everybody. So we need to work on fractions. We need to work on adding and subtracting fractions, multiplying and dividing them. And then we go from there to the next step. Maybe you're really good with decimals, but you need help with percents.
So it can break out, these tests can break out where your specific weaknesses are.
Yes, ma'am.
That's exciting.
It gives us an overall score as well as a breakdown of what specifically within a skill set we need to work on.
And so there's individual training then?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We have a variety of methods. We have individual training where students work at their own pace and instructors on hand to help them out when they get stuck in that kind of environment. We call it our lab classes. We also have distance learning options. We have instructor-led classes where the instructor facilitates the class, and we have instruction, lecture type setting, small group activities, that kind of thing. So we really use a variety of teaching methods to help our students.
Because everybody doesn't learn the same.
Exactly. Not everybody learns the same. And now we have a really exciting opportunity. We've had it going for about a year now, but we now have an opportunity for students to not only get their GED, but also get their foot in the door in the workforce.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and that's our Learn to Earn program at the New Ventures site located on Fort Drive. Students still have to come in and register with me, and we also hold registrations on site. We will be doing a registration there for that program at 1 o'clock on Wednesday, November 9th. If anyone is interested in it.
Well, if we wanted to find out what dates the registration, we could call Adult Ed.
You could always call Adult Ed. You could call my number. It's 706-756-4652, or they can contact Mike Meredith at New Ventures. He's our WIOA contact there. I kind of oversee the GED portion of it. He and his staff oversee the employment side of it. So we'll have them come into the New Ventures location. They'll go through an orientation with both myself as well as Mr. Meredith and his staff, and then we would get the required paperwork for GED, do the assessment there, and then they can work there and attend classes on site there as well.
Well.
And the class meets Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 a.m. to noon. We just got a new instructor there. She's really excited. So she's really ready to get working with everybody and invest in our community. It's a really great opportunity to help people both acquire their education and employability skills and a paycheck all at the same time.
That adds up to really good.
Because a lot of our students really do have to decide, do I have time to pursue this in addition to my work schedule? This way they don't have to make a decision, they get both.
And the thing about it is, pretty much all the well-paying positions today in our area require a high school diploma or a GED.
Yes, ma'am, they do.
So if it means that, okay, I can't get my GED because I don't have any money, here's the solution to that problem altogether.
Exactly. And the great thing about the program is we are trying to target at-risk youth. We look for people from between 16 and 24. And try to target that group to help them get started, because it's very, one of the things that the state of Georgia is looking at are soft skills and employability skills.
Right.
And how do we work that into a curriculum, which is also one of the changes that adult ed will be facing, and I'll probably be talking to you about next year.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I have heard rumors that is there a program, or is it potentially a program that students that are getting their GED, if they pass a certain assessment, they can start getting college credit? Has that?
Actually, what we have now is what's called career pathways. Students, there are 4 available majors, I believe. It's automotive tech, welding, business administrative technology, and the early childhood education, I believe, is the 4th one. And students who are interested in pursuing a career or majoring in any of those at West Georgia Technical College can go ahead and get started while pursuing their GED.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very exciting, yeah.
They do have to be in our program, and they have to pass 2 of the 4 GED tests before they can start.
Right.
And then they have to complete their GED within their first 2 semesters of college.
Right.
To continue.
Well,
that's a great opportunity.
It is so good. And Hope would pay for the college part of it?
I believe so.
Well, that in itself is a major change in the
Isn't it? I know. We didn't, like this time last year, we didn't have that opportunity.
That to me is so exciting. That is so exciting. Well, Susan, you have been full of wonderful, exciting information today,
Well,
I so appreciate you being here today.
Well, thank you for having me today.
And please plan on coming back, because I know apparently there's going to be some changes constantly.
Yes, yes. Adult education is a constantly changing world.
Well, and the thing about it is there's always going to be somebody that needs to be in our classes.
Exactly.
And like I said, it's never too early to start.
It's never too late to start.
And never too late to start. And then the financial is not a barrier.
Exactly. If finances are what's holding a person back, they need to just give me a call and we can get them started.
Well, thank you so much for all this wonderful information.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Glad to have you.
Thanks.
And we'll be back with the second block with some more exciting information about adult education. Welcome back to Tech Savvy. We have a very good program today. We're learning a lot. We are focusing on our adult education programs, and we realized how important these are because we've got too many people in our area that don't have a high school diploma or a GED, and that's the key to being successful, in your career. And so we had Susan Prestridge before, and she started talking about this new program that Adult Education at West Georgia Tech and New Ventures are working together on. And Mike Meredith's here today, and he's the field coordinator for youth services at New Ventures. And welcome to Tech Savvy.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for joining us. Now, give us a background on this Learn to Earn, and kind of make it, show us how the connection is between West Georgia Tech and, I want to know all about it.
Well, it all started, as you know, we were doing the summer work program for in-school youth back here in 2009. And so from doing that, we were strictly working mostly with in-school youth and some out-of-school youth. Well, a couple of years ago, the state turned around and said, well, we're not going to focus on in-school youth anymore. We're going to focus on out-of-school youth. Out-of-school youth meaning kids that maybe have dropped out of high school, need to go back and get their GED, or kids that had graduated from high school and were not going to college or wanted to go to college but couldn't go at that time. So looking at that model that the state gave us, we said, well, how can we make this attractive? So since we found most of our kids were out of school youth, had dropped out of high school, we said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we teamed up with West Georgia Tech to have a GED class on site where they could go to GED class and work on the same property. Because what we had found in the past, that transportation was a
major barrier.
It was a major barrier, and so a lot of times kids couldn't afford to do both at the same time. They could either afford to do one or the other. So we thought that would be a good attraction for the program. We felt if you give young adults the opportunity to go back to school to get their GED, and they can also earn
money.
A little money to take care of whatever necessities they needed, that would be a good fit. And so we got together with West Georgia Tech and Susan and yourself and Karen, and so the rest is history.
Well, all right, so I am a high school dropout, and I can't just go to school. I need some extra money to pay for, lights and gas. Would I come to you? Would you help me with this issue? Problem?
As long as you are eligible. And the state's saying if you're a high school dropout between 16 and 24 years of age.
Okay, I'm a little old for that, but pretend like I'm 24 or 23.
Well, that won't be hard to do.
Oh, okay.
But as long as you're between that age and you're a high school dropout, you're eligible.
Okay.
If you are a high school graduate, then it'll be based on your household income.
Okay.
Meaning that if you still are living with your parents, then we have to include their income as well.
Right.
So you may or may not be eligible.
So we got to get over that little hurdle. But what happens next? If I'm a high school dropout, I obviously have to go to adult education programs with Susan. But will I be taking classes on your campus too, or?
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm also going to be working.
Yes.
At New Ventures?
Yeah, well, we're either New Ventures or some other work site that we have in
Examples
play.
being?
Examples being, right now we have agreements with Johnson Controls. We have agreements with, of course, New Ventures, Community Action for Improvement, LaGrange Police Department.
So actually I could be going to adult education classes, and I could be working with the LaGrange Police Department in maybe clerical or
yes,
and making minimum wage at least, right?
Well, actually, it's a little more than minimum wage.
Okay.
We can start you out at $8.50, and then and basically, let me back up a little bit. What you would get is, it's not really work. It's called paid training, and you would get 480 hours of paid training. The first 240 hours is at $8.50, and the second 240 hours, based on the evaluation grade, we can bump you up to $9 an hour.
And that would probably include like good attendance and working well. You
got it.
The soft skills.
Exactly.
And if you don't come to work, you don't get paid, and it's probably not a good idea because you'll get out of the program.
Well, not only that, if you don't come to class, GED class, you don't work.
Okay.
It's mandatory. Everyone that's working must be in attendance of the GED class, unless there's some kind of logistic issues that we can't address at this time.
All right. Well, what about like background checks and drug tests and stuff like that? Do you do that?
Yes, we have a zero tolerance to drugs. Everyone that comes in our program, they must be drug tested. If they fail a drug test, we don't kick them out of the program. We work with them to help clean them up if that's what they want to do.
They got to sign on for that.
They have to want it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We meet them halfway. We kind of say what you put in it is what you get out of it.
Well, that's the case in life in general.
And that's what we're trying to teach, is life.
Okay.
Yes.
That is wonderful. Well, Mike, we've run out of time, but you've been wonderful. You have given us some really good information to think about, and I think it's a good opportunity for a lot of different people, whether it's the students that are dropouts, potentially employers. And we've got lots of things to do. We've got lots of potential in this area.
Yeah. And one thing is done, and I'll be short. You take care of one issue, you meet one need, then that allows you to address other needs. So we have other needs now. Because of this, we can move on to other needs that our kids are having. And so that's, we have Mr. Trevor in here. He's working on that in our group sessions that we do. Also, I also want to mention, if you're over the age of 25, we have a program for 25 and up, where you can come in and get your GED and get some paid training as well.
So there's a really good partnership between the GED department and New Ventures.
Exactly.
And that sounds like a really good winning partnership to
me. We want to explore that and see what else we can do.
I bet we can find something.
We can.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Welcome back to Tech Savvy. We're continuing our conversation about adult education and new ventures and the partnership and the differences we're making in the students and the participants in these programs. And please introduce yourself, because I'm having a hard time announcing your last name.
I'm Trevor Picciano. I'm the Youth Ventures Administrator.
And so you work with Youth Ventures. Are you new?
Yes, ma'am.
Brand new?
Yes, ma'am. I've just been here for about 2 weeks now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so what are your job duties? What do you do at New Ventures?
I handle the payroll duties, and I do a lot of the scheduling for applicants who come in. They're interested in the program.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other things that I do is I'm working with group sessions Wednesday afternoon,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have our participants who come into the program. And on Wednesday afternoon, we all collaborate together to go over different things.
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, today we're going to go over the W-2, the 1040, and how to read a pay stub.
Financial information.
Right.
Financial literacy.
Because we understand that a lot of youth don't understand the concept of that. They don't understand what are these documents for, how do I read them, and how do I fill them out. So we want to be able to enable the students to really find their focus in the real world and not only the textbook.
Excellent. What are the ages of your participants?
The participants that we have are the age of 16 to 24.
Mm-hmm.
So we may have 16-year-olds, we may have 24-year-olds who come in. But working together, we just look to make sure that everyone has a chance to share their opinion.
Well, give me an example. I guess these students are also the ones that are going to the GED classes also.
Yes, ma'am.
And are they also able to work in different job situations too?
Right. So we have our participants who, some of them work in our Duracell lab, which is capping the batteries for Duracell. We have a carpet lab in the back. Okay, so we have
lab space that you're able to get stuff done.
Right, and so we make bags and stuff out of carpet that is recycled material.
Good.
We also have the Johnson Control agreement there, so we have one of our participants working there.
Those are outstanding opportunities for these students, but what you're doing also is kind of giving them another dimension of training with the financial literacy too.
Right.
Can you give us some examples? I mean, you've only been there 2 weeks, but tell me some outcomes that you've gotten from your participants. Have you been there long enough to see some changes?
I think that a lot of the participants are understanding that there is more connections out there. They see that whenever they're able to outreach and stuff, that there is help for them. Because a lot of them think that staying in their shelters, they're safe haven, but in reality, when they're able to voice their opinions and tell their story, a lot of people are there to help them, whether it's mentally, financially, or in other ways.
Well, there are a lot of resources out there that people are not aware of, and I guess y'all are basically a resource center too for this information and contacts. Well, good. Well, what are your plans? I mean, what kind of things do you want to accomplish now that you're in this position? Because you've got a lot of opportunities to make a difference.
One of the things that we want to focus on is, again, being able to give the students the ability to find that power within themselves, because we understand that just helping the students along doesn't do as much for them as giving them that power and helping them discover what they have within them. So we want the students to be able to establish the power within themselves to be able to go out and do things without the help.
To be independent.
Right. We don't want to have the students being and the participants being too reliant upon us. We want them to venture out, and that's part of the New Venture mission.
That's amazing, because there's so many people in our community that need this type of help.
Right.
And of course, the bottom line is we have so many good opportunities for people to be employed in our area, and we have a lot of opportunities that are available for people.
Right.
So your group needs to be prepared for those things, because if they've got some good foundational skills, which it sounds like they will be, they'll be perfect for the new jobs that are coming with the new industries coming to town and the ones that are already here.
Right.
So do y'all have job placement portion of it, or do y'all?
We do have job leads, and so a lot of companies, they may reach out to us and say, hey, we've got a couple of positions available. We need someone who matches these qualifications. And so whenever the participants come through our program, they're able to get the training, that 480 hours of training. And so that training enables them to to get the job skills and stuff that the companies are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So we're able to place them at
and
the
let
company.
them see and what like an environment like that is
Right.
like. Instead, they would never have had that opportunity.
Right.
Well, it sounds like to me y'all are on the right track to make a big difference in our community,
Yes,
and I
ma'am.
do appreciate it. I'm excited about our partnership with West Georgia Tech because I think we're touching on a population that we normally would not have been able to touch, and
Right.
we're going to make a difference in their lives.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining me today, and please plan on coming back and giving us an update on your progress, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
And maybe we'll have one of your participants come on our
Of
meeting.
course.
A successful one.
A successful one.
But
of
then they're
course.
all going to be successful, right?
Of course, we sure will.
Thank
we'll
you
make
so
sure of
much.
that.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And that concludes our episode of Tech Savvy. We hope you'll be back next time when we have more exciting news coming from West Georgia Tech.